Good morning. I'm Jim McGregor, and I've been proud to represent this church for 3 years, so I'm the oldest of our delegates up here that have gone. But we have some new ones this month, and you can tell from my voice that things at conference were, I don't know whether it's that I sang too many songs too loud or I shook too many hands and hugged too many people, but my voice has been given out, so I can now defer to these guys to fill you in on all the highlights that have happened. So.
Actually, we knew we had some time constraints, so we butted him out. We just said, Christian, we can do this without him. We'll never get done in time if we let him crack his jokes and do his thing. For those of you who are new members or visiting today, you may not know what the annual conference is all about. It is our annual meeting of the Florida Conference. Our church belongs to a district, which then in turn belongs to a conference. So we really were honored to be representing you, and I hope we did it well. I don't think we embarrassed you, representing this church in the conference meeting. They do meet once a year. It's an even number of clergy and non-clergy, which is, I think, rather exciting and probably a little bit unique to the Methodist Church. So we had 1,600 people, half were clergy and the other half lay people. We did the business of the church. I have a summary sheet that I can give to you as you leave. I'm not going to go through everything that was voted on and all of the interesting things that were discussed, but it was a 4-day meeting, so we're going to condense it in like 2 minutes. So bear with. If there is something that you want to know about, it will all be on the website midweek. If you're not online and want more information, just ask me and we'll get it for you. I just wanted to let you know that one of the things are the appointments of the clergy for the conference are set at that time by the bishop, and you all know that Tom and Raphael are both reappointed to our church for this next year. I ran into a couple of folks that would be familiar to many of you. Joyce Alexander, she is reappointed to Big Pine Key, and Cherie Chapman has been reappointed to Fort Myers. So we're kind of excited for them to still be appointed there. They're happy to be reappointed in those places, and we just continue to pray for them as they serve in those churches. On a sadder note, during the memorial, some of you may remember Pastor Thurman Rivers, who served this church, I believe, in about 89, 90, somewhere about that. But Thurman was honored at the memorial service as he passed away this year. The themes of this conference this year was Mission of God. So you can guess, there were a lot of talk about missions, and not just global missions or even local missions, but our Bishop, Ken Carter, is very much into encouraging all of us to go out and be in mission. And his bottom line was, we are all to be in mission every day, wherever we go. We are to be in mission for God. But there was a lot of emphasis on mission. One of the other main emphasis was young adult ministries, and that was really great. There were a lot of delegates there who were way younger than I am, and it was really great to see them involved and being welcomed at this meeting. One of the things that we did here before conference is a lot of you brought in your old jewelry, and there was a big resale of jewelry, and I just want to tell you that $19,000 was raised in that used jewelry sale. But even more exciting than the dollar amount is that will provide funding for young adults who want to go on mission to Cuba and to Haiti. So if you are a young adult who has been thinking about going on mission and just don't know how you could afford it, there is money available. So we're really excited about that. If you're interested in it, please let me know, and we will be sure to get you in touch with the folks who are working on that area. Next year, the conference will be right here in Daytona again at Bethune-Cookman College, or University, sorry. And we're excited to have it here. The theme then will be Imagine No Malaria. That's the mission theme for next year. And they had a 5K run walk, which we did not participate in, but they raised $5,000 towards Imagine No Malaria. And you will be hearing a lot about that this year. Amy Rutledge, our mission director, I'm sure will be bringing news to you in ways that we can help contribute. It's a global concern. And the positive thing they said actually was only every 60 seconds now a child dies from malaria instead of every 6 seconds. Doesn't sound like a big improvement, but it really is when you think of the numbers. So we want to be a part of that, and you'll be hearing more about it. The worship leader this whole weekend was Jeremy Hearn and his band, which gave a whole new tempo to the conference. And we thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm going to let Christian go into that more about the young adult and his perspective on it as one of our younger delegates.
Okay. Thank you, Bev. To follow up very quickly on Jeremy leading worship, you have not seen so many people jump out of their walkers and jump up and down and wave their hands and hoot and holler in a Methodist church in a long time. At least I have not. So it wasn't just him, it was a whole band, but it was incredible. So very quickly, because I know the church has an amazing program for you guys today. If you've never been to annual conference, it's somewhere between a shareholders meeting and a summer camp. There is a lot of voting that goes on, and there's a lot of formal rules and procedure, but it's also genuinely a lot of fun, I thought. On the shareholder meeting side, these are just things I thought was important. If you visit the conference's website, flumc.org, there will be way more about this starting Wednesday. But the three things I thought we did that were most important were we voted in the board of I think it's the United Methodist Connectional Foundation. It's basically the investment arm of the church. This handles something between $60 and $90 million a year. That's, I don't have to tell you that's a lot of money. And we voted in the board. They sounded very qualified, and I don't know any of these people, but the bishop said they were qualified, so we voted them in with no votes against. And we had two resolutions on social issues. One was about encouraging women in considering abortions to have ultrasounds, and there was a lot of spirited debate on both sides. That resolution failed, 400 to 300. You heard there were 1,700 delegates. I wonder where the other 1,100 were. All three of us were there to vote on that resolution. The other resolution was about children of immigrants who were brought over to the United States when they were children, as in they had no choice in the matter. And the conference already decided several years ago that if those people are now able to stay in the United States legally, that they may seek college scholarships out of church funds, pre-existing church funding programs. But the conference had already decided this, but they hadn't done it yet, and the resolution was basically just, hey, do what you said you would do. And that resolution passed. There were also a ton of what we call enrichment sessions, which also called breakout sessions. Everybody goes to a small room and talks about something important. There were a ton of these, ranging from Africa University, which is the big United Methodist University in Zimbabwe, which during the economic crisis in 2010 was the only university in Zimbabwe to keep its doors open. Every other university in the nation of Zimbabwe closed for a period of a couple months. Africa University stayed open because of you guys. There were also sessions on impacts of drug laws, how to administer to sex offenders, and various other people who Jesus would describe as the least of these. And I attended two sessions on how to get young adults back into church and how to keep them engaged when they're here. I was joking with Raphael earlier. I could hijack the entire sermon for the next 3 weeks about everything that I heard and talked about in those sessions, but what I feel you, the congregation, need to hear is that the church might not be able to fix this, but you can. There is an entire generation in America, something like 40 million people, who have never set foot in a church, and it would be a mistake to assume that they're ready to listen to the gospel. They won't believe in God. They won't trust the Bible. They'll say it's a 2,000-year-old piece of religious propaganda. They'll treat it just as much as they would the Communist Manifesto or Ayn Rand's Atlas Shrugged, because it's designed to get you to think a certain way. Instead, what they want, and this is where you guys come in, is they want to see you live the message you preach. They want to see you do what the Bible already tells you to do. They want to see you live humbly and compassionately and generously. And I don't mean in terms of, dumping all of your money on a charity. I mean in terms of forming individual personal relationships with people that you already know, whose lives that you're already in, and being there for them in their daily lives. And all of this I have a page of notes here, which is my condensed version, but basically it boils down, in my view, to your lives now are not lives in Christian America when it comes to bringing back this lost generation. Your lives now are more akin to the life of an overseas missionary, someone in an alien, and I don't mean this because, the demographic here is a little different than in the second service. I mean because the culture that we live in now You'll never hear Jesus Christ talked about on TV. You'll never hear him talked about during a football game or during a concert or anywhere. And because of that, you have to be patient, and it will take years to get a single person back into, not even into church. When they come back, they may not talk like you, dress like you, they may not worship like you, they may not come to church at all. But getting them into church is not the mission. The mission is to make them disciples of Jesus Christ for the transformation of the world. And that will take a long time, and that will take patience and compassion and friendship. And this isn't impossible. This isn't a new thing. This is the church in the early Roman Empire. Jesus talked to a Samaritan, Philip talked to the Ethiopian, Paul went into the Areopagus, which would be the equivalent of me going to Harvard Yard and talking with Harvard professors about Jesus Christ, which is a scary thought for most people, but Paul did it. You can do it too. And, to sum it all up again, people want to see you, people in my generation and 10 years on either side of me want to see you live the message of Jesus Christ. And you already know how to do it. Tom and Raphael have been telling you how to do it, and their predecessors have been telling you how to do it for years. And you all are already doing it to varying or lessening degrees. It's just, you have to keep doing it, and you have to be friendly and patient and compassionate. And it's going to be an individual case-by-case basis. I could talk for weeks about how to approach different people, but you can do it, and I believe you will. Thank you for listening to me.
Let's see, and just in a wrap up here, I guess, I forgot what I was going to say, but the main thing is, we're going to be at the Bethune-Cookman next year, and the year after that, they decided to take it to Disney World. So we're going to Disney World. Woo! And it was like one of those no-brainer things. They say this: the cost of using the center in Lakeland is $95,000. The cost of using Ventura Lakes or something, but there was zero. They don't charge for it, so that's why we're going to be going there. So we're going to try a whole new venue. That's 2 years from now. So if you're interested in becoming a delegate, you talk to the nomination committee, and you can take our places, or we'll go again if you need us to. Thanks.